I'm Kent Brockman, and this is Eye on Springfield.
Oh, hi! I was just reading this new issue of Guitar World, and I was going through this 100 things every guitarist should know. And here's Tom Morello, very talented. Joe Satriani, the legend. Steve Vai, the legend. See who else? Misha Mansour. Never heard of him? I'm sure he's a legend and has a very curious looking guitar. Oh, look at this. Apparently, I was asked to Pontificus Maximus. I wasn't plugging it, but now that I have purchased it and realized that I did this sometime in the last 90 days, I was curious to see what I said. Let's see. Number 20, learn how to tune your guitar. Boy, oh boy, that professorship at Harvard isn't far away. Such wonderful advice. Just great advice from this up-and-comer named Joe Bonamassa. Learn how to tune your guitar. Wow. Groundbreaking. Oh, here we go again. I just can't help myself. Plug straight into the amp. We went through this drama in 2017. Quote, when you remove all the barriers between you and your guitar, you'll force yourself to make something happen. Yes, like mistakes. Don't listen to me, kids. Number 22, that was 21. Number 22, bring gear appropriate for the session. Now, that I do agree with. Whoever came up with that probably wasn't me. You need to bring the right kit for the session. If you're playing a country gig, don't bring a Marshall stack. If you're playing in an Iron Maiden tribute, don't bring a Fender Twin and a Tele. That's good advice. It's a nice picture of me. I don't look like this in person. I don't know who edited this photo, but you've taken away at least 2, maybe 3 chins and made me look, as they say, svelte. I'd like to talk to you today a little bit because I've been asked, and yes, I'm wearing 2 t-shirts on a very hot day. Why? Because I like layers in case I'm cold, and it's ill-fitting. I also have a bug bite on my face or onset leprosy. I have yet to figure out which one is which. I've asked the internet, and they're leaning towards leprosy. We can only hope. I'd like to talk to you a little bit about a commonly asked question. I've been doing a lot of talking, more talking than playing, hence the mistakes at the beginning. And people are asking me, what do you think going forward the impact will be on the music business, on gigs, on sessions, on playing live? And I basically say, well, short term, we're all screwed. Everybody's home. And if you think about it in terms of live music, historically, because I like history, and apparently I like UFOs because I was curious about a headline, and now I've literally been contacted by every conspiracy theorist from here to Roswell. Yet I digress. Maybe not. Maybe I'm in on the whole thing. Do you ever think about that? But in the short term, we're all screwed because it's shut down. In the history of the music business, I can't find a time, even during World War, where there isn't a gig on anywhere in the world. From Australia to South America, to Mexico, to Europe, to Russia. Our Russia gigs got canceled. America, Canada, it's all done. There's not a live music venue to be played. So in the short term, we're very, very, in dire straits here. The long term, and it's not so much a willingness by the artist to get back out there. It's going to be a consumer confidence problem going forth. It's going to be a problem of convincing folks that they're not putting their life in danger to hear old blues boy bash through the ballad of John Henry for the umpteenth time. Even though it's what we call a Bonnet classic. Maybe some other people do. I don't. Spike Driver Blues. Don't tell anybody. But the consumer confidence issue is really what we're going to be challenged with going forth. And scaling, though, if you watch CNBC and you watch all those business types, I like watching it after 4 o'clock. They all think it's casual. They take the suit coat off, so they got their sleeves rolled up. Well, scaling is basically, it costs money to start a tour on any level. When I was a young kid and we got into a van and we deadheaded out to Tulsa, Oklahoma for our first solo show, a long time ago, after we opened up for Jethro Tull, I ended up having to ask my tour manager at the time to slow down because we were going through too much gasoline. And that's what you call scaling. There's costs involved in starting a tour. There's gas, there's road cases, there's strings, there's everything involved with putting on a show before you put on your first show. Paying for the merch. Those CDs are not free. The t-shirts are not free. So what I came up with and what we're trying to do now in the long-term sense is we're doing this gas program that, thank God, we've been very successful in the last 3 days. I'm like the blues version of Jerry Lewis. I'm on the phone. I'm working the phones. I'm begging for money. Begging, you see? Don't make me beg, but I will. And we're giving away all the money to bands that are in need of financial assistance immediately and a gas card. Because I figure, Ford Econoline van, a Chevy van, or whatever van, whatever you're in, vehicle, station wagon. Albert King used to tour in a station wagon. It was great. Even past his hits. He loved it. And it's going to cost to get everybody back out on the road. Now, if you take 6 months off, even if you're a band like we are that well, I don't really like to rehearse, but we would go over it a little bit. There's some bands that don't rehearse at all, and they just go, and they're great. But it's going to take a little bit of woodshedding to get back up and running, and you're also going to have to rent a room to rehearse in. Now, you don't have to rent Madison Square Garden, but you have to rent a room. So there's some cost involved with all of this going forth. So that's one of the issues as well. So that's why this gas program that we started, to me, is going to really help people directly. And then we'll see who goes out first, how the consumer confidence is going to be affected going forth. Also, we're going to run into a state-to-state problem. Now, it used to be start in New York City and end in Los Angeles. The United States of America, no big deal. Tour everywhere. From Peoria, Illinois to Montgomery, Alabama, Dallas, Texas, Phoenix, Arizona, San Francisco, Portland, Billings, Montana, end in Los Angeles, that's where you live. Take your suitcase off the van, go home. Well, in the short term, who's operating, who's not operating, what the regulations are you operating under a half house? Are you operating under a full house? Even if you are operating under a full house, are you able to sell the full house? Even if you used to. So there's going to be a lot of economic challenges. And unfortunately, with our business, this part of the business, sports, entertainment, movies, we're in the mass gathering business, like it or not. There's going to be challenges because we're going to be the last to be allowed to open because of the nature of what we do. We like to get a lot of people in the room and make them clap. At least I try to. I appreciate those standing ovations, even though I bait you for them. See? It's all fake, ladies and gentlemen. My glasses are fake. The suits are real, but the glasses are fake. I really don't need them. And so there's a pessimistic optimism going forward. And what I really think, and what I've come to the conclusion is, what can you do to help? Well, you can support your favorite band. You can buy their merch. You can buy their CDs. You could contribute to keeping your bands, essentially in business while we're essentially out of business. And it's a really wonderful thing you could do for anyone to support them in a time in which is unprecedented. Support your restaurant, support your I guess they sell to-go booze now, which is something they never did. Support your bars, restaurants, and your favorite artist. And I'm really concerned going forward, and I really hope for the best. I'm praying for the best, but sometimes you may have to plan for the worst, and it's going to take a lot of time to put Humpty Dumpty back on the wall. I keep seeing people going, shut up and play guitar. Well, that's not why I'm here. The thing is, what I like to address is there's a cost side and a benefit side. There's also there's also a side of the creative. Like people going, what's the most common? You must be writing a lot of songs. I haven't done shit since I got home. Why? I'm not inspired. Oh, I could play the best riff in the world. To who? Termites? Half of my neighbor? Oh, maybe the neighbor likes it. She hasn't complained. But she's very nice and lets me cut her trees down. At a cost. But you know what I mean. It's going to be a very big challenge, and it's going to be an adjustment for everyone who's into this kind of thing. So, after all of that, now we can get to the nerd stuff. What do you want to see? Somebody say something. There's a spider on my couch? No. This house is spider free. You know why? Because I trim a little fat off the insect bill of rights when I tell the inspector, or whatever the guy does, not the inspector, exterminator, to just double spray the house. So we don't have any. Please play the Gibson Trini Lopez. That's in the other room. You inspired me to my first guitar. Well, I'm very, very, very honored. Somebody said Skinner. Well, you want to see Principal Skinner? Here we go. I don't pre-tune any of this stuff, so if it's out of tune, sue me. Somebody just typed old time religion. Do you know, here's a little fun fact, when we did the Three Kings tour, the band hated that song. Hated it. I thought it came out pretty good. I enjoyed singing it. The band hated it. They would roll their eyes every time we'd play it. I could see it. And one of the things was I just called it for a lot of sound checks. You know why? Just to fuck with them. Do I have tinnitus? What? I have ringing in my ears. I know I'm left-handed. I don't care. The only people that can play right-handed on this stupid Instagram Live are Doyle Bramhall and my friend Eric Gales. I don't care less. I'm left-handed. One of the things that we did with the Three Kings was we paid tribute to Freddie. Obviously, BB and Albert, and it was such a fun show. We got nominated for a Grammy, which was great. Joe, open F, please. I love it. Well, open F is nothing but open E, just tuned up a half step. What am I playing through? I'm playing through a Fender style amp and an Ampeg reverb. Would you like to see? Let me see. I'll double tap this. Here we go. Here we go with the EK comments. I'm playing through this amplifier, which was owned by Hoyt Axton. Remember him? And I'm playing through this Ampeg super rare reverb. And it has two 4-inch speakers. And it comes out of the back of the amp into this little device. And it amplifies reverb only. And then here are a couple of my signs. I like the Con organ one. Thank you, Drew, in Tulsa. Please show the Paul Kossoff guitar. You'd have to ask my friend Chris. He owns that one, not me. But, as I was talking about, the best sign in the room. Good question. I like your style. Would you like to see it? Let's see here, before I break everything. And then we truly be done with these broadcasts. Broke my guitar. Let me turn it around. Let's see here. The coolest piece of paper in the room is the original 55 Fender binder. That's the coolest sign in the room. And it's not working. Crap. This is on. That's on. I don't know. It's one of 40 ever made. It's a 1960s Ludwig point of purchase sign. And I have two of these, but they're really cool. And it looks really cool when it's lit up. Let's see what else we have here. I have one that's lit up. There's the second one. Let's see here. Play Fender. Did you mean play a Fender or play Fender? Let's see. Let me see what Fender I have while I'm trying to entertain. Please enjoy this beautiful Les Paul footage while I grab a Fender guitar. Oh, let's see what we got. Here we go. This is a 1959 Fender Stratocaster, left-handed, because I'm now a left-handed guitar player. See? That I purchased in Tampa, Florida this year. And this is what Stevie Ray Vaughan's guitar or Rory Gallagher's guitar would have looked like when it was brand new. This is pretty well preserved. And it was purchased at Replay Music in Tampa, and they had just gotten it in from the original owner. So I have the receipt, a photo of he was then a kid, now an old man, and he kept this thing in pristine condition. It's old, remember? All right, let's see if it works, even if it's in tune. It's not really. Call a slab board. Newish strings? No, these are the same strings that were on it. Why? I'm lazy. This is what you would call a slab board Stratocaster, and this is the first year for that. Now, this is where the nerd stuff really gets in, comes into play. These necks were not dated in late '59. The maple boards were, but the first rosewood boards into '60 were not dated. Why? Because Leo Fender caught somebody writing like dirty words on the neck pocket. So you pull the neck off and it says, "Fuck you." Nice way to build a brand. So yeah, that's why they didn't date these in 1959. So that's an indelible mark of it being a '59. And the serial number is 45091. Please don't say that's your guitar. It is not. It's been stolen. You owe me that guitar. This guitar is a guitar called Cousin Jethro. And I have a picture of it. It's a 1960. Early 1960. It's got a nice little curl to it. And I have a picture of the original owner on drums and a guy playing it in a band with a 210 Fender Vibroverb. And the guy's name was Jethro. And it was the guy's cousin. So I said, well, there's your name, Cousin Jethro. And I like this guitar. And I haven't played it much live, but I plan on, if I ever get back out on the road, you know, what are you gonna do? I'm gonna play it some more. But as you can see, ladies and gentlemen, they all sound like Les Pauls. Actually works. Hi from Vladivostok. That's really interesting. I've always wanted to go. Let's see what other questions I can answer. Hello from Brazil. Hello back. What tunes have I been listening to lately? Well, I've been listening to a lot of blues because I've been programming my Sirius XM show called Different Shades of Blue on B.B. King's Bluesville. So I've been listening to a lot of blues and programming that. I haven't been listening to much. I've kind of gotten back really heavily into Robin Ford. You know, I was like one of my favorite guitar players of all time. And I just think he's one of the best combinations of fiery blues and a guy who knows how to play over adult changes, but make it sound bluesy, you know. And he's just one of the best. So I've been listening to him, trying to steal stuff. And other than that, I've been just working on a lot of things, you know, if nothing else, on this charity that we've been working on and raising money for, and I know it doesn't say it on the website, but we're knocking on the door of like 90 grand in 3 days. So thank you very much. I'd like to give a special shout out to Nat and Cesar at Gibson for their generosity, Sterling Ball at Ernie Ball, Andrew at Chicago Music Exchange, and everyone that's come in and really the guys bought my amp, my guitar today. We sold it, and it's all going, and we're not done yet. It's all going to a great cause. Norman's Rare Guitars donated. Everybody, came in and was super generous. And it's all going to go to musicians that we really love and care about. And obviously we can't give money to everybody who plays guitar or is in a band, but we're going to try to do as much as we possibly can. And it's been a great passion, And I like Barry being like a, Jerry Lewis type, It's always kind of been in my personality, like an auctioneer. Let's see. Have you listened to the Cold Stairs? I absolutely love the Cold Stairs. One of my favorite discoveries of 2018. I think they're just absolutely primed to be a huge band. Let's see who else is saying. What's my latest purchase? I'm out of the game. I stopped guitar collecting 5 weeks ago. 2 reasons. One, just didn't feel right, and B, as a guitar collector, I don't want to. I don't want to. I have no barometer on what stuff's worth anymore. That's just Any favorite licks? I don't know. The ones I don't make mistakes. Will you do a master class? Should I do a master class? Am I a master? It's news to me. Can't wait to see you at Red Rocks too. I just don't know when. We're hoping to do it this year, but I don't know. Let's see. What about collecting signs? Signs are rarer than guitars. That's why I collect them. Does Neil Sean have more vintage guitars than you? I don't know. But I love Neil, and he's a great player. One of the best melodic guitar players of all time. He doesn't get credit for that. His solos are like choruses. Fantastic. What's that little Ampeg? The Ampeg is a reverb generator. I'm not a master. Hello, Zach. Nice to see you. Hope you're well. Hope we all get back on the road very soon. Or not. I can just sit at home, be a hermit crab. And it'd be like grow like one of those long beards. And be like the guitar hoarder version of the crazy cat lady, where the neighborhood going, "Hey, don't knock on the door. He's crazy up there." Well, one can only hope and learn. Please play the theme song from The Godfather. Oh, God, I used to do that. It was cheap applause. You know why I did it? Because it was cheap applause. And I'm Italian by nature, and we love cheap applause. How many cars do I own? A better question, how many cars work? I'll tell you the worst thing I ever got into, just frustration-wise, but they're very cool, is old cars. Because the way I look at it is you have a 50-50 shot of ending up on a flatbed. And boy, I've been on a flatbed more than I really wanted to in a lifetime. Let's see. Let's hear it. I already played for you. Let's see what other questions come in. Jethro Tull, please play. Very well said. Well, we used to do New Day Yesterday. And, oh, by the way, here's another cheap plug. A New Day Yesterday, the 20th anniversary version of that album is coming out, I believe, in August or September. And Kevin Shirley mixed it. I re-sang it, and I'm dedicating the whole record to Tom Dowd because, to be honest with you, I didn't feel I was a good enough singer to be involved with a guy like Tom Dowd. And I was just a baby artist that didn't know what he was doing, and Tom really took me under his wing, and I felt 20 years later I owed him at least a decent vocal pass on some of these things. So Kevin Shirley did a great job remixing it, kind of compiling it, because it was half on tape, half on a hard drive. It was a mess. But we ended up doing this 20th anniversary edition. It's called A New Day Now. So there's some demos from back when I was a kid. God, don't listen to those. And there was some really cool stuff on there, and some different versions, because we lost some of the original versions of solos, and it was kind of all spread out over tapes, and we were using a different process. So thank you for the compliment. I was fishing. Thank you for your compliment, Chelsea. Let's see, who else? That sounds cool. I appreciate all the kind words. Ah, yes, Jim at Howard Music. Eric Gales, I just spoke to him today, and we're still planning ahead. We're still planning ahead on going forward, September, in recording his new album. And it's just, we have to figure out if the studios are open and when we can get together in the same room. I'm not doing a Zoom writing session. I refuse to do it. It's got to be in the same room, I don't want to make a record. I don't want to be in the control room with a mask on either. So we have to determine if that's safe for us to do. Again, I'm not telling people to be unsafe. I'm just telling you what I'm willing to do and when. See? Joanna Connor record will be out in January. We're going to start mixing that in the next couple of weeks. Very excited for her. She's such a nice person, one of the best out there. And we made her a killer Chicago blues record, and she stepped up to the plate and owned it. Absolutely. Do I still own Snakebite? Yes, I do. That's in the safe out in the back. Or actually, I bury them in the backyard, and then I dig them up when I want to play them. Bonamassa collection book in the future. I can tell you this. Making a book is more trouble than I bargained for, and I've kind of gone cold on the idea. Truth be told. That's one of the things that I really didn't understand, how labor-intensive making a guitar book is, and I've just kind of gone cold on the idea. You guys know what I have, and if you don't, it's fine too. The world will go on. We got bigger fish to fry than a guitar book. Let's see. But I may do it one day. I may just get that, do a telltale change of heart. I know some of you out there keep track of everything that I say and then come back with me. I thought you said you're never going to do a guitar book. Well, I changed my mind. I'm not definitive about everything. I'm not definitive about anything. I'm a tyrant. Tyrants usually have ADD and just indecisive. Do you like Pink Floyd? Does anybody not like Pink Floyd? Do you sleep rocks? I don't know. I don't know what that means. Where's the Raging Cajun? Allie, the Raging Cajun is in Nashville in a vault that was ready to ship to Europe before our entire world collapsed. So that guitar has to be reconciled at least at one point, and hopefully I get to see it soon. I'm sure it's still in tune. It's one of the best ones I own. Let's see. What do you think about Slash? Have you ever played a scallop neck? Well, that's a very real dichotomy of questions. I think Slash is an iconic guitar player with a style that you can identify within 3 notes, which not a lot of people can do that. Only Clapton and B.B. King and a few that have that ability. Have I ever played a scallop neck? Yes. Mike Hickey, my guitar tech, owns many scallop neck guitars, and I find it to be, let's just say, difficult. And I don't know how I could describe that. I don't know if I could do a whole night on a scallop neck. Who are your influences? The 2 Erics and B.B. King. Eric Johnson, Eric Clapton, B.B. King. Robin Ford, the usual suspects. Paul Kossoff. What's your favorite Simpsons episode? My favorite Simpsons episode is I would say it would probably be anything to do with Lionel Hutz. I'm a big Lionel Hutz fan, so you could, it's just, there's so many. But basically my favorite seasons are 1 through 10. Can you play us and show us Eric Clapton's Strat? I don't own Eric Clapton's Strat. Do you like Brad Gillis? Of course I like Brad Gillis. What do you think about Stevie Ray Vaughan? These are baited questions, by the way. Who doesn't like Stevie Ray Vaughan at this point? I play with his keyboard player. Thoughts on Marshall Astorias? They're okay. I played Bernie Marsden's a few months ago, and it sounded good. It sounded really good. Marshalls, at this point in my life, I used to use them a lot. I used to use the Silver Jubilees. I've kind of gotten used to a lower gain scenario than the Marshalls tend to give, and one of my kryptonites has always been too much gain, too much compression. I'd rather just go have a drink than play. That's right, Reese Winans. Let's see. How about Mark Knopfler? Oh, Mark Knopfler, Brothers in Arms. What a beautiful sound. He had that front pickup thing going. It was like fantastic. Do you source vintage tubes to go along with your vintage amps? No, I do not. I use brand new tubes. Why? Because I need to, sometimes the ones that I use actively, they need to be replaced quickly, and I'm not going to carry around a bunch of old, expensive tubes that are going to break. I really don't. What do I listen to music on at home? I listen to music on a little JBL speaker. I do not own a stereo system. That's really odd to say. Do you ever play 2-rock amps? I've had a bunch of 2-rock amps in my life. They're good. I love Eli. He's a great guy, and they make great stuff. Country music, yay or nay? That's a loaded question. What year, what era, what kind? It's like saying, do you like Chicago blues or do you like Delta blues? There's a lot to it. Have you ever tried Dumble amps? No. Have I tried the Fender Tonemasters? No, I have not. Do you listen to bands like Iron Maiden? Yes. I love Iron Maiden. I love Judas Priest. I'm actually a secret heavy metaler. I love heavy music. We play with Black Country Communion. It's that's a side of me that explores Ritchie Blackmore and Deep Purple and everybody. Let's see who else. Favorite quarantine snack? I actually virtually eat now. I eat on Zoom. I watch other people eating online, and I just pretend I have their food because I cannot consume calories anymore. I believe that the air that I'm breathing in this room contains calories, which are going to exacerbate a soon to be out of control weight problem. Let's see. What's your favorite lick? I don't know. The one I don't make a mistake on. We'll try to get back to Brazil. Oh, yeah. I like Wishbone Ash. I used to do shows with those guys. They're great. Andy used to have this killer Flying V. I think he had a couple of, I think he had a real Carina as well. Please play The Drop. I don't know what that is. I don't know when the Edgar Winter tribute to Johnny is out. I know I'm on 2 or 3 songs, and it was a pleasure to work with Edgar. It's such a pleasure to work with him and Ross on this project. It's a labor of love. And I played on Self-Destructive Blues, which is one of the first electric blues songs that I learned. I learned that song, and I learned Further On Up the Road from Eric Clapton. I do use 11s. I use Ernie Ball. The closest thing to my set is the Burley Slinkies. And those are work. I think that's what's on here. Let's see what else. Hello. That's a good question. My favorite burst player. Wow. I gotta give it, the first time I heard one of these in anger, I didn't realize what it was. It has to be this guy. Then it was obviously Clapton, and then it was, and then I heard this record by Jeff Beck, and the second song he went. I was in. I'm not going to turn the reverb down. I'm too lazy. One of the things, about a Les Paul. Now, again, these are old ones. But if you know what the sound is here, you can get this sound out of almost anything. You can buy an Epiphone Les Paul and a new Fender Hot Rod DeVille or a new Marshall Astoria, and if you know what's in here and how you want it to sound, you just keep twisting dials until you get that sound. I love Guthrie Govan, by the way. I met him on a Lee Ritenour session, and that guy played so fast and so clean. I never see anything like it in myself. It was amazing. How many hours do you practice a day? I think the better question after we got sent home from Minneapolis is how many hours I've practiced in the last 45 days. And I think maybe 2. That's why I'm rusty. Let's see what else we have here. What's the state of my current watch collection? I don't have many watches. But this one works. It's slow, but it keeps time. What do you think of a Fender American Original Series? Again, you could take a Squire Strat. My friend Tomo has been doing this a lot with his Telly. It's a great example. It's a $169 guitar, and guess what? It sounds like him. He could play his, 5-figure Strat and a $150 guitar, and it sounds like him. And that's one of the things that it's one of those things that you just have to accept. That sound, you play long enough, you have enough hours under your belt, you have to accept you have a natural tone in your hands. How's my cigar collection? Dwindling. But it was pretty good. Some blues breakers, please. Well, since you asked, to me that sounds too bright, so what do? Do I panic? Do I freak out? Do I run out of the room leaving the phone on? No, I turn the tone control down. Check it out. It's just how you want to be represented and how you hear it. Like if I hear something that's too bright, I address it. I have these controls. I'm in control of my destiny with these 4 knobs. In my ears, what's left of them. I like G&L guitars. They're good. Play Fifth of the First by Genesis. Yeah, you want the entire version? Yeah, I'll get the Mellotron out. I'll be right back. It's in the garage. Let's see what else we have. Thoughts on the PRS Silver Sky? Everybody who has them likes them. If I see 3 single coils in that configuration, it better say Fender on headstock. That's all I have to say about that. But I'm sure they're great. Do you ever play through Leslie speakers? Yes, I have a Fender Vibratone, which is Latin for disappointment. They break down. I'm not playing Johnny Be Good. Play some Rory Gallagher on a burst. Well, it would sound like a lot like Rory Gallagher on anything because it was intrinsically in him. Everybody associates Rory Gallagher with that beat up 61 Strat, which I got to play at the Royal Albert Hall several times. Thank you, Donald. What you don't realize is Rory had a huge guitar collection, and it always sounded like him. It was all in his hands. It was all in his being. He was like, "How's my hearing holding up?" I do have some ringing in my ears. It's a job hazard. I accept that. I will not turn down, use monitors or in-ears. I turn the monitors up, I throw the in-ears in the garbage, and I enjoy my life as a guitar player. Life is too short to be up there tortured in a sonic fashion. I know people who tolerate them, hate them, blow their ears out with them. I'm old school. I'm sorry. And I tell you what, sound men don't tell me what to do. Let's see what else we have. Your concert. We were at your concert. Enjoyed it very much. Thank you very much for the support. Gary Moore. I mean, God, if it wasn't for Gary Moore and Walter Trout, there would be no me. Those guys paid, paved the way for me. Best advice for stage fright. You're not as bad as you think you are. That's exactly what, when you think you suck and you start panicking, you get you lose your core and you start wobbling. I can tell you this. The best advice I can give for that is you're not as bad as you think you are. You're actually doing pretty good. The worst moments on stage feel the longest. The worst moments on stage are when you think, oh my God, I can't even believe that this is happening. I am the worst musician on the planet. And then you listen back to the tapes, it's not as bad as you think. So just bear that in mind. When you're up there and you think you're playing bad, and sometimes you're actually playing bad, but it's not as bad as you think. Let's see what else we have here. I've been to 2 of your concerts, best 2 nights of your life. We need to throw you a bar mitzvah. Fix that problem. Let's see here. Any advice for some young people looking to collect gear? That's a very good question. I can tell you exactly how you collect gear. You collect what you like. If you don't like acoustic guitars, don't buy acoustic guitars. If you love acoustic guitars, buy acoustic guitars. If you like Fenders, buy Fenders. If you like Gibsons, buy Gibsons. If you don't like, if you don't like any of it, you don't have to collect it. Don't let anybody else tell you what to collect. I happen to like solid body Gibsons and Fenders and Fender amps. If you like to see the level of the addiction of the Fender amps, look no further than this shot. Let it sink in. Let it sink in. There it is. Yes. Well, you've all seen that shot. This room is very famous. This is where I watch conspiracy theory DVDs on Netflix. Let's see, a couple more questions, and I'm gonna bid you adieu. Favorite new guitarist? Good question. I cannot pronounce his name, or there's a kid from Italy that plays guitar, but he plays like this, and he pivots. I forgot his name. I've never seen anything like it. He's the most. I'll think of it and post something about him. It's the most incredible thing I've seen since I first saw Stanley Jordan. Completely reinvented the instrument. Marcus King as well. He's incredible. Probably one of the most naturally talented young people that I've ever met, and a humble, nice man. This kid from Italy, but he rips like Eric Johnson, then he'll play over changes, and then he'll play Iron Maiden. I mean, it's the most versatile thing I've ever seen, and the most I mean, he's playing it like an upright bass, but he's not like an upright bass. This was he's playing a jazz bass, but he's ripping. I've never seen anything like it. Let's see here. Do you have any Gibson guitars that are broken neck and restored? I happen to have one that you probably would like to see. Let me look. Pardon my absence. Please enjoy the orange couch while I'm away. This is Tommy Boland's Les Paul, 1960, that it took me 7 years to find, and it has a broken headstock. Ask me how much I care. I do not. 'Tis Tommy's, the one, the only. Let's see what else we have here. I gotta be gig ready. That's why I always plug in. My father always got on me about, I always used to mess with the knobs and the switch when I played, like unplugged. He's like, why are you doing it? I go, I'm practicing for my gig. Don't tell me what to do, Dad. Let's see here. Seen it at the Baked Potato. Yeah, it's a fantastic guitar. Thoughts on high watts? Love them. They're great amps. Big sound. Favorite year Les Paul custom? I happen to like 58s if they're refretted. You have to refret them because they have the 0 frets, and it's not conducive for Les back in the day when he was just playing whatever. Playing all that really fast stuff, but it's like who run. All that stuff like that. Sorry, Tommy's cranky. It works. It works when you're trying to get a really low action, clean sound. When you start bending on that stuff, it's like it's not fun. Let's see. All right, last question. I'm going to pick a good one. Tell the guys the story of why you wear suits. Okay, fine. And it involves 3 reasons. I used to look at those old pictures of Muddy Waters and Willie Dixon and B.B. King, that famous photo, and they're sitting there in their finest suits. And I'm like, that's the coolest thing ever. I went to see Eric Clapton at the Carrier Dome in Syracuse, New York. And at the time, they were the pervasive narrative was, oh, he's the Armani Blues Band. I thought it was the coolest thing I've ever seen. Cut to 2006, and we were headlining the Cleveland House of Blues. My parents were there. I was very proud. We drew 600 people, which was a huge crowd for me at that time. Huge. I was so proud. And we went out there and we played a good show, and my parents were there, and it was all a good show. And I was wearing a kind of a button-down, Sears activewear, dress shirt and my jeans that I was wearing from the day in the same clothes. And a picture of it got sent to my producer, Kevin Shirley, and he was like, congratulations on selling the tickets, but you look like a slob. And I said, okay, I get it. So I went out and bought a cheap suit at TK Maxx. And then I put the suit on, and it was not really refined at that point. And then I absolutely kind of embraced it, and then I started seeing pictures of myself. I go, okay, I look like I owe it to my audience to dress better than people on stage, than people off stage. So I started putting on the suit, and I have a certain size and a certain brand. I don't tailor them because I always tell people, it's like some people comment they want to be wise asses. They're like, they're not the suits are not tailored on the bottom. You can see the ridges. I said, listen, if somebody comes up to me at the end of the show and says, I could see the little ridges on your non-tailored suit. I said, well, we don't have a tailoring problem. We have a security problem. You're too close to me. Anyway, ladies and gentlemen, it's been an honor and a privilege pontificating, laughing, crying, I don't know, sharing, laughing, more crying. Now it's time for me to bid you adieu. Thank you very much. I'll try to do this more frequently. We're contemplating starting a series called Conversations with Bonamassa, and it'll be a weekly series where we just get together and chat, and it'll be a set time, which will really garner the most entertainment out of it because I can't guarantee I'll be all nice and fuzzy and warm. I could just be a fucking grump. Good night, ladies and gentlemen.